Can you believe we're already halfway through 2025? If you made big goals back in January, but now you feel stuck, you feel overwhelmed, or you feel like you are or you haven't made enough progress, well, you are at the right place and you are definitely not alone. And the good news is you do not need more hustle, you just need a better system. So today I'm sharing a simple, proven step-by-step system to break any big goal into realistic weekly action steps, especially if you're balancing a full-time job and a creative side hustle. Hello there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura and here we'll talk about productivity, creativity, and personal growth, mostly for those with a full-time job and a creative side hustle. And I share tips and strategies on how to manage both without feeling overwhelmed, stressed, or burned out. So I understand how easy it is to get overwhelmed by huge goals, right? Especially if you have a full-time job and you're trying to build a creative side hustle. That's why today I'm giving you a simple 4-step framework to break down your dreams into weekly doable action steps, so you can finally gain momentum again without feeling exhausted or discouraged. So if you like the sound of that, hit subscribe and the notification bell if you want more actionable strategies for growing your creative side hustle while working a full-time job. If you want to start applying these strategies today, make sure you go down to the description box below and download my free 5-step weekly planning guide on how you can turn your big goals into weekly action steps. Now let me share a recent example. When I needed to connect with 50 women about their work-life balance struggle, I broke it down into specific daily actions like connecting with 20 women every single day on LinkedIn, creating outreach templates, and setting up systems. Also, when I wanted to start this YouTube channel, I broke it into smaller steps on how I actually come up with content ideas, right to the point where I schedule my video to be published on YouTube. So the first step is for you to start with the big picture. So first zoom out, okay? What is your big goal for your creative project? What do you want to achieve by the end of 2025? So you want to be specific, right? If you've been putting off launching your own YouTube channel, or if you haven't been consistent, what you want to do is to be really specific about your goal. What is your specific goal that you want to achieve for your side project by the end of the year? Rather than saying you want to be more consistent on YouTube, or you want to launch your own YouTube channel. For example, you can say, I want to launch my own YouTube channel and post 26 videos by the end of the year 2025. So write your goal in one sentence, right? Using numbers or clear deliverables where possible. And I go into more detail on how you can set smart goals for your side projects in this video right here. So you want to make sure you check that out. The second step is to break it down into milestones. So you want to break down your goals into quarterly milestones or monthly milestones, right? Think of this as your mini victories that build momentum. So milestones equals checkpoints, right? They create urgency without really being overwhelming. So for example, what you can do in the same example of you starting a YouTube channel, you can say by August, I want to know exactly what my niche is. And then you can say by September, I want to have created my first or recorded my first 4 videos. And then by December, I want to have posted my first 4 videos, because you have to give yourself time to edit, to do thumbnails and all of that great stuff, right? So for me personally, I do break down my goals into quarterly milestones, and I equally break them down. Even though I break them into quarterly milestones, I break them down into monthly milestones. And I do find out that once I do monthly milestones, they are more effective for me. So I might have a goal that I want to achieve each quarter, but once I break them down monthly into monthly milestones, then I get better results. Now, do I always hit my goals? Absolutely not. But this helps me create a roadmap, right? It helps me create strategies, action steps on how I can achieve these milestones. And even when I do not hit these milestones, I always make progress, and that is what I choose to focus on. So what you want to do is to break your yearly goal into 3 to 6 major milestones, right? And since we are in the month of July, what you want to do is maybe break down your goals, whatever that might be, the goal that you have or you want to achieve to the end of the year. You want to break that down into at least 3 milestones. And then you want to focus on 1 milestone per quarter, or on 1 milestone every 2 months. Now, before we go ahead, what is your major challenge when it comes to breaking big goals into smaller milestones when it comes to your side projects? Please comment below. I'd love to know. Now, the next step is you want to create monthly and weekly mini goals. So this is where the magic happens, right? Big goals do not get done all at once. They happen one tiny step at a time every single week. Like I said before, I do write down my monthly goals at the beginning of every month, right? I do write down my monthly goals on my board above my workspace so I can see it every single day. And from those monthly goals, I do set up weekly mini goals. So you want to break down your goals into micro actions. And micro actions are tasks that you can complete within 30 to 90 minutes. You want to focus on outputs, which is what you produce, and not just inputs, which is the time spent. For example, if you set up a weekly goal as I'm going to work on my YouTube script, that is a bad goal, right? What you want to do is you want to say, I am going to write one YouTube script this week, right? That is an output rather than just saying I'm going to write or I'm going to work on my YouTube script. That is very vague. You're most likely not going to get anything done or not even complete a script. But once you are specific and say which is specific with the output, you are more likely to get it done. And this 100% changed the game for me because it helped me set more realistic goals for myself. Now, if I do set a weekly goal to create 3 YouTube scripts during my deep work sessions, which are usually 4 hours every week, and when I do not complete 3 scripts within that time, I now understand that it's going to take me longer to actually write 3 scripts. So once I am planning and time blocking and creating weekly goals, I now understand that within those 4 hours, I have to say I'm going to create 2 scripts and not 3. So it helps me be more realistic with my time, helps me be more realistic about how much time I spend to get certain tasks done. This determines when I can actually record the videos and then edit the videos and eventually post these videos. So it is extremely important that I do understand how much time it takes for me to perform or to complete certain tasks. So setting specific goals helps you better track how much time is spent to complete your tasks. And it equally helps you stay motivated because you're more motivated if you set a goal that says I am going to complete 1 script than just saying I am going to write YouTube scripts this week. Working on YouTube scripts might just mean writing a paragraph, right? However, being specific gives the goal a more measurable aspect to it, which then gives you a sense of accomplishment once you hit that goal. So setting weekly, measurable, specific goals does 3 things. 1, it helps you eventually set realistic goals. It helps you stay motivated. And 3, it helps you stay focused because you become more intent on writing 2 scripts rather than just writing scripts. So if you want to actually start setting weekly goals and achieving them, go to the description box below and download my free 5-step guide on planning your week for maximum success without the overwhelm and without burnout. And the final step here is review and reset every single week. So progress isn't about being perfect, right? It's about being consistent and adjusting where needed every single week. That is why weekly reviews are non-negotiable. So every single week during your review session, what you want to do is ask yourself these 3 questions. What did I accomplish? What got in the way? And what is my next best move? And you equally want to ensure that you are celebrating your wins, right? Even half-completed projects do require you to celebrate. So I block out 30 minutes on my calendar every single Sunday to review my week and plan for the next week. And this helps me make adjustments as needed. For example, I started waking up at 5 a.m. to get my workout in before I go to work. I had to adjust that to 5:30 a.m. because I realized 5 o'clock was too early for me. So I made that adjustment and equally had to make other adjustments to my schedule, right, based on my previous weeks of doing this. And I go into more detail on how to plan your week for maximum success in this video right here. So remember that it's really not about working harder, right? It's about working smarter with the time that you have. Big goals do not require more hustle, they require better planning. So by starting with the big picture, breaking it into milestones, creating weekly mini goals, and resetting every single week, you will finally feel momentum building even with a packed schedule. So remember, we're only halfway through 2025. There's still plenty of time to make huge progress, one smart, simple week at a time. So if this helps you, please give it a like, subscribe to this channel for more realistic, creative, side hustle productivity tips. And don't forget to grab my free weekly goal breakdown template in the description box below so you can start planning your next steps today and implement every single thing we just covered. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you watch this video on the screen next, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.